Well, good morning and welcome to this morning's reflection. That gentle rumble that you might be able to hear in the distance is the sound of generators, as we have no power. But perhaps that is an important part of today's reflection, allowing noise to be there but not to claim our attention. When we come into a space of wanting to pray contemplatively, of wanting to go into a space of interior silence, the greatest difficulty that we face is dealing with our thinking. And it's one of the reasons why many people give up on contemplative prayer or centering prayer, because they don't seem to be able to cope with their thoughts. And it might be helpful then to distinguish different kinds of thoughts. We have the ordinary wanderings of our imagination. And we're always having thoughts. You cannot stop them. And so interior silence is always a relative degree of silence. So it is really a state where we are not attached to our thoughts. We just let them go by. As with noise, we just let it be there, but it doesn't distract us. When you're in the shopping mall or in the supermarket, you're often unaware that they are playing background noise until they play a song that you might have an emotional attachment to. Then you notice it. And perhaps that's how we are to be in centering prayer. So make up your mind and accept that you are going to think thoughts. It's a reality of your inner world. And as you accept that, the thoughts fade into the distance. And so it's true. Whatever we give our attention to grows. If we don't attend to our thinking, it fades away. And of course, some days that inner noise is much more intense than at other times. And because it's noisy doesn't mean that the prayer was a failure. God is still present, and you have consented to His work and His action in your life, and He will honor that. As you persevere, you will become conscious of two levels of awareness at the same time, really. You can be aware of the noise that is in and around you, and yet recognize that your spirit is grasped by something at a deeper level that you cannot really define, but it is real. Some people just give up because of the barrage of thoughts. It's just too much. But if you hang on and if you're persistent, you will get used to that endless train of thoughts, and they will glide into the background. So just ignore the wanderings of your mind and simply accept what is and come to God. The second kind of thought is when we become emotionally involved in our thinking. When you feel some spontaneous like or dislike for a particular thought. You experience perhaps a clinging sensation. And this is when we return to the sacred word, which reaffirms our intention to let go and allow God to act within us. Our consciousness is like a great river on which our thoughts and experiences pass like boats and debris. The river is that deeper participation in God that is God's gift to us. It is the part of us on which all else rests. But we are often unaware because we are so absorbed by everything that's floating on the river, by all our thoughts, experiences, and emotions. So in centering prayer, we shift our awareness from the objects floating by on the surface to the river, to that which sustains us. And so it's a constant matter of returning our attention to the river. And that's all it is. It's not getting rid of the boats. It's not getting rid of the debris. It's simply coming back to noticing and being attentive to the river. Now, of course, God speaks to us in many ways, through scripture, through what other people say to us, through our daily lives, and through dreams and the inner workings of our minds. But his first language is silence. And so when we come into centering prayer or contemplative prayer, we come without expectation. We come simply wanting to be with and in God, to be held by God. We simply come consenting to that. And we should not be so attached to the experience of God that that's what we expect in centering prayer, that somehow we will experience God. We have to let go of all of those desires and simply be present in an attitude of utter and complete surrender to the one who loves us and whose delight and desire is to be with us. And we are responding to that desire and that delight. And so I hope today that you can continue. And so let's end this by beginning a centering prayer. So just for the moment, become still. Notice your breathing. And then begin to say to yourself your sacred word, not out loud, but within, simply repeating your sacred word. Until you reach a deep stillness. And when you attain that stillness, let go of the word and simply be in the presence of God. And every time you are distracted, you come back to noticing the flow of God, the river of God. It is good to sit for at least 20 minutes. You may not make 20 minutes, but each day you can increase the time that you sit here with God in a companionable silence. And so I leave you to sit with God.